Tell me, ma, I won't be home for tea. We're going to Italy. Good evening, everybody, and welcome to the Toon review for the Newcastle United 4. Yes, 4. Brighton and Hove Albion 1. A truly fantastic performance. Little bit of squeaky bum time in the second half when Brighton got a goal back. But then this team these days has the capability just to go out and blow any team away by scoring a couple of goals within a couple of minutes. Alex, you were at the game. It was brilliant atmosphere. It just first half domination. Second half was what it was. But we got the 3 points at the end of the day.
Yeah, atmosphere-wise, I mean, obviously not living in the northeast. I've not been to as many games as a lot of you viewers will have done. But I've probably been to sort of 20, 25 games in my life, and I've got to say that's the loudest I've heard it. I was at the Arsenal game at the back end of last season when we beat them 2-0, and that was a very good atmosphere. But this topped that. It was the quick successive goals. It was something else. It was definitely surreal. It reminded me a lot of when we beat Everton with the Trippier sort of free kick, when it was like, okay, it's happening. I think this is the next phase in the it's happening in terms of like possible Champions League. The players dared to dream then and started to celebrate. I think they know it's nearly done. But yeah, incredible.
Monday night's just going to be something else at that stadium. It really is. It's going to be an incredible day, an incredible atmosphere. Everybody is going to be it's just going to be incredible to be there. It really is. And there'll be people just celebrating well into the night. Obviously, we've still got to go and do the job against Leicester City. It's not done yet, but, it's a huge foot in the door. James says, evening, TTR family. Brilliant win from Newcastle. I was wondering if you saw that Szoboszlai had liked an image on Instagram of Newcastle winning 4-1. Yeah, me and Alex. Well, Alex pointed that out to me last night. Billy, did you see that?
I did see it. Yeah.
Interesting. Why he's liking a Newcastle United Instagram post.
It's kind of similar to a Sven Botman one on Instagram.
Yeah,
similar.
Yeah, he did that, didn't he? Yeah. Is there anything in it, Billy? Do you think? Is Szoboszlai on his way to Newcastle?
Who knows? Time will tell.
So.
Time will tell.
What do you reckon, Jack?
I hope so. I hope that's a sign.
Yeah.
Because obviously when some players do that, it's not out of the ordinary that Szoboszlai goes out his way to like a Newcastle image, because you'd have to be like a recommended on Instagram to seek that, or it might be popping on Instagram. But to go out his way and just like an image, probably watch the game as well, because it was the only Premier League game on last night. So he's either seen the game
could have
or
watched the Conference League final,
Maybe,
semi-final. Sorry,
it's a bit weird how he's gone out his way to just like a Newcastle image when he's got nothing to do with us. So
Although we had the press conference this morning, and journalists would rather know about how Eddie how feels the first few seconds after waking up, instead of asking about things like that. But I don't want to name drop any journalists because they all do.
No, we never name drop one.
That was a frustrating press conference. There were some abhorrent questions in there. There were useless.
No, there was. Yeah, just typical shite. By the way, did anyone see that Liverpool fans tweet earlier on today when he was he said he was contacting the highest authorities, and they were dealing with this dodgy referee. I mean, listen, that referee did all he could in the second half. Absolutely all he could in that second half to get West Ham back in the game. Zishan, thank you very much for your $4.99 super chat. He says, evening all. To Paul, with all due respect, I have 2 middle fingers for you. One each from Miggy and Trippier. Only messing. Look, I mean...
Well, did you hear Eddie Howe's response to Trippier's set piece delivery questions and from the journalist? He went, I think it's been spectacular. Or I don't know. He didn't say spectacular. He used a specific adjective. I'm not sure what it was. But he said it had been good all season, which was curious. Because although the corner really was aimed at Wilson, and Wilson didn't get there.
It was a mile away from Wilson. But look,
goal's a goal. Simple as.
A goal is a goal.
We said this in the preview. We don't care if it comes off someone's bollock or whatever. As long as it hits the net, that's all we care about.
It got us on the road. That's the thing. It got us that goal, and I mean, Billy, from the watch-along purposes, I mean, Brighton in that first 25 minutes with a play now from the back. I mean, I don't know what they were doing, but if I was a Brighton manager and I was watching them do that, I would be absolutely crapping it every time Steele got the ball last night, because some of their passing out from the back was absolutely ridiculous, and the time wasting was incredible. So they'd obviously come with a game plan saying, let's do what Arsenal did and slow the game right down. But it backfired massively.
It did, but I mean, it's generally something they do really well. Playing out from the back, and they get through it. They got through the Arsenal press really easily on every occasion, and the level of the press last night was obviously much more of a higher quality than what the Arsenal's one was. I mean, then it was frantic stuff, wasn't it? Because there's no real, there's plenty of good footballers in that back four, Brighton, especially the 2 centre halves were outstanding. But the level of press on the pass was unbelievable last night.
I think there was a difference there. They had Colwill as pairing dunk against Arsenal, and obviously they had Paul Van Heck, who Sanjay on Twitter kindly pointed out, which was very interesting. Wilson literally just didn't care. He just ignored him in the press, which was quite funny. If you go back and watch it, he won't touch Lewis Dunk if it's necessary. But yeah, honestly, go and watch it, because it's really.
I think the bigger point is the fact that Gross wasn't playing right back and Caicedo was. Yeah, Gross.
Caicedo had an absolute nightmare yesterday. He had a nightmare.
I didn't understand why he was doing playing right back. Why was he doing playing right back?
Well, I don't understand. I don't understand them leaving McAllister out. I mean, he's one of their best players.
I can understand them because they've got plenty of games. They can't play them all. But to play Caicedo right back and then play Gross in the middle of the park made no sense whatsoever.
It just didn't work. No. Coach Austin, thank you for your $4.99 super chat. He says, buzzing, great performance. What a bunch of bellends on Sky Sports commentating. Billy, you did a great job. Listen, we've told you, don't listen to them. Just listen to Billy. If the game's on telly, you can still watch it and listen to our commentary. Just turn them idiots off. JT Dunk, thank you for your £5 super chat. He says, evening, chaps. So proud of Eddie and the lads last night. What a performance. We're going to Madrid with Big Dom in with squad next year. Obviously talking about Shabozalai. By the way, listen, I think it was Stephen Fraser last night, Billy. Donated 30 memberships last night. Now, we don't get to see it on StreamYard. It doesn't come up on here. So that's why, Billy didn't see it, because it simply doesn't come up on StreamYard. But Stephen, that is a fantastic gesture, matey, and absolute round of applause to you for that from all of us, mate, because 30 memberships, that's incredible. So, Stephen, thank you so much. And I know you're a big donator to the channel when you can. So thank you so much, buddy, from all of us. But that was why Billy simply didn't see it, because I
was aware he did something, but I don't know what he did.
But it's really annoying because it doesn't come up on StreamYard. And that's, I keep giving StreamYard feedback nearly every bloody weekend to try and improve what we see. Because if we're going to use StreamYard instead of watching the chat on YouTube, we need to get these filtered through. It shouldn't be very difficult. Peter, what's his name again? Bodefjord, is that it?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. Thank you for your 65 Swedish krona. He says, evening all. Great game last night. Now bring on the next one with an emoji of Daisy. Indeed. Now listen, Miggy, All right. I'm seeing things in the chat already saying, oh, like blah, blah, blah. Oh, he's still selling Miggy and all of this. Look, Miggy was brilliant last night, right? There is no doubt about it. But this is what we need to see consistently from Miggy, not just little patches. This is what he's capable of. And he played very, very well last night. He did a lot of defensive work as well, which didn't go unnoticed by me, especially in the first half when he was tracking back, winning the ball, bringing it out. Obviously set Callum away for the third goal, which killed the game. He did brilliantly defensively and then broke out with the ball. That is the Miggy that we want to see. And if he is capable of playing like that, then Jackie's got to play like that all the time, surely.
Yeah, because he knows. Because if we get when we get top 4 this season, we will be bringing them some class players in the summer, not just very experienced players, but young, up and coming, talented players. And he's going to have to fight and play out of his skin week in, week out to keep his spot. And and if he plays like that every single week, players coming in, you're gonna have a problem getting in that starting 11 because Miggy, we know how much of a good player he is. He's shown it last night and he's shown it early on in the season. But if he does that consistently, new players will have a trouble getting in that starting 11, and that's just what we need to see from him. But we are going to bring some class players in the summer or future windows, and Miggy's going to have to do that to keep his place.
I have to say, Estupinian defended him awfully. And the reason why for that was the first time that Miggy had the ball, he went on the outside of him. And Estupinian just wasn't expecting it. And from that moment on, he didn't have a clue which way he was going. Yeah,
he did some really good things last night, it has to be said.
Can I just mention one thing in regards to the Miggy thing as well?
Yeah,
a few people have pointed this out, and it is a fair comment. You've got to understand he did have thigh issues. I'm just looking at Transfermarkt to confirm when that was. 15th of March until 15th of April. He had a full month of that and then was brought back. I think when he came back, he scored as a substitute straight away, and we just thought, oh, he's back straight away. I think if we're going to say like sort of Wilson and Maxi and these sorts of players need time to hit the ground running when coming back from injury, I think it's only fair to apply the same to Miggy, really, isn't it?
Well, of course. And look, if I'm wrong, I'll hold my hands up and say I'm wrong. I don't mind that. In fact, there's no other player I'd rather prove me wrong than Miggy at the minute, to be honest. However, prove me wrong. That's all you can ask these players to do. And Miggy did it last night, but I want to see that consistently. Obviously there's only 2 games left in the season now, but if he goes on to next season and performs like Jack said, he's going to have a fight on his hands next season, depending on who we sign. So the competition is going to be much stiffer than it is this season. So he's got to be at his best. Mr. Spoons, good evening to you. What a fecking winning atmosphere yesterday. Yeah, I saw where you were sitting, matey, and you were very vocal and very animated. G67 says, evening, peeps, it's been a while on holes at the minute in the freezing bloody Mallorca. Freezing Mallorca? Toon cheered me up last night. How are the lads? DK, thank you for your $9.99 super chat. He says, I don't think Brighton would time waste, and they play like that all the time. If we pressed quicker, they would play quicker. Well, I don't think the pressing wasn't a problem yesterday. I didn't think we pressed them all night long.
I think you're referring to the fact Brighton had lots of possession, but most of it was between Van Heck, Duncan, and the keeper. That's not
second half, when Brighton scored, there was a 10-15 minute period then that Jason Steele was allowed to bring the ball quite far out. I think that's what you're referring to, Bill. We sat a little bit back, but look, Brighton scored, and you could feel the nerves kicking in around the ground. And when that happens, that obviously cycles through to the players as well. But the crowd responded. They didn't shut up singing all night. It got the players going. And when we got that third goal, the relief in the ground was lifted. And it's just like Newcastle, a minute and a half later, straight back down the other end, Bruno smashes it in. They deserved to win last night. There wasn't any doubt about it. But again, we see in the media, Billy, that, pundits are like saying, how they don't understand Brighton's lineup. They don't understand why they were so poor. We made them look poor again by the way we press.
Yeah, I couldn't agree more. There were a couple of selection issues in the Brighton side that I already alluded to, but, the press last night, and like Eddie Howe said today, his press conference, that all came from Wilson. Wilson was superb last night. Absolutely superb. Yep. Without the ball at his feet and with the ball at his feet, I thought it was outstanding.
Yep. Of course, Alex has kept his good run going at St James's Park. Every time he's been, we've never lost. So there was offers of tickets for him last night, but obviously it's
I can't go. I'm sorry, guys, I can't go to Leicester. Right?
It's unbelievable. But look, at the end of the day, right, we had to go out. We had to get 3 points. We did it. Everybody's looking at Leicester now, saying, "Oh, is this a banana skin, etc." Yeah, we play our normal game. We'll talk about this on Sunday night when we do the preview for the game. But we play our normal game. We'll be fine. I'm in no doubt about it. But injuries may be a little bit of an issue. So does he change formations? That's what it's very, very interesting. But we'll talk about all that on Sunday night anyway. When I'm sure we'll find out more over the weekend as well. Who's going to be there injury-wise. Seattle Geordie says, good evening. Well, that was a relief. Bring on the Foxes. Considering we played 3 teams, Brighton, Hove and Albion, it was a great performance. Yes, it was. Nathan Howells, thank you so much for your $9.99 super chat, buddy. He says, heard a stat last night that Trips has got the most assists in the Premier League from dead ball situations. Can't believe he is still taking them. Absolute rubbish. Laughing emoji. In Alex we trust. Only joking, Paul with a heart. Listen, Trippier was fantastic last night, okay? His deliveries were much better, but not just that though, Alex. His defensive performance was there again. He looked like the normal Trippier that we know and love.
Yeah, I mean, it was less about legs and more about just experience and awareness, his positioning. And, you know, it's all well and good Mitoma doing what he's done study-wise, all the dribbling and a lot of the talented players they'd got running at him last night. But he used his experience and his know-how to just be in the right place at the right time, when to wait, when to be patient, when to go. And then on top of that, it just showed his experience. The Brighton players, when they lost the ball, instead of reacting quick enough, Trippier had already made a decision and played someone through and carried on. Next phase, boom, he was outstanding in that regard last night. In set pieces, I'm pretty sure he's the highest in Europe for chance creation. Obviously because he takes all the set pieces, but he's okay at them as well.
Yeah,
and it was a very good delivery for Dan Burns' goal.
Well, I was just going to say, I mean, Jack, perfect time for us to score, really, wasn't it? Right before half time to get that second goal. I was very disappointed with the Brighton fans' response to Dan Burn. You know, some of them anyway on social media this morning, kicking off about his celebration. I mean, what's he going to do? It's a Champions League qualifying game. It's a massive Premier League game, and he scores at St James's Park for his hometown club. What's he going to do? Just walk away?
Look, the Brighton fans, yes, most players when they're playing against the old clubs tend to, like, you know, hold their hands up, show respect. I don't care if he was playing for Brighton for his whole career and did magical things. I don't care. If I was Dan Burn in that position, I'd go and celebrate.
Absolutely.
He's a Geordie boy. He's been supporting them the whole life. He had a season ticket there. He got released as a youth player. He's gone there, and that's why we call him Big Dan Burn. He scores in big games. He doesn't score in the mid games. He scores in big games. Quarterfinal Leicester scored. Possible Champions League qualification. That'll, you know what I mean, against Brighton, scored there. That's why we call him Big Dan Burn, and he had every right to go and celebrate that as well. So yeah, Brighton fans, in my opinion, can go shut up.
And the thing is,
about that second goal as well, by the way.
Yeah, the thing is, the ball in was.
Oh yeah,
it's what we've been crying for all season to aim for one of these big guys. But Dan Burns' movement was superb as well, and the header itself, you know, perfectly headed down into the ground, away from the keeper. And, you know, that's what we've been itching to see for so long.
Yeah, there was more to it than that. There was more preceding that where... So because obviously they had the shower incident and all of that, it took a little bit of time. Miggy went over and spoke to Trippier for a minute. And then I think Wilson went over as well. And they were chatting for a good 2 minutes. And then they did that funny staggered run. This was planned. This is something they've talked about. Maybe it's something they've tried on the training ground. Trippier and Wilson maybe decided it. And they made everybody think it was going to be a short ball or maybe to the strikers or whatever. They did a staggered run, step back, and then they played the set piece. And they'd got Undav on Dan Burn, which is a mismatch. I think that was poor from Brighton as well. And because of the little fake sort of set piece go that we'd given, it was almost like a false start. It gave Dan Burn that space, and he just tried to aim it away from the keeper, and it was perfect. So again, week in, week out, we do say we can see new set piece attempts, whether it's corners or set pieces. We can see they're trying it. It's just nice to see one work. It was brilliant.
Yeah, exactly.
Very well thought out.
Zishan, thank you for another $4.99 super chat. He says, as that bellend Jason Cundy would say, has anyone seen Neville or Carragher? Very quiet today on Neville and Carragher. Very quiet. Has anybody seen them? I can't see them anywhere. They're very quiet at the minute.
They were hanging their hats on a Brighton victory yesterday.
Of course they were. Of course they were.
Because hang on, Jack, I ain't finished yet. Because they think we're going to beat Leicester. They think, and that's 6 points. Yeah. So they were hanging their hats on a Brighton victory. We beat Leicester as well. That's the 6 points we needed.
Look,
so they were hanging the hats on that last night, and they'll be very disappointed.
Well, they're going to be them.
Structure.
Hey, structure. Hey,
structure.
Peter, thank you for another 65 Swedish krona. He says, Paul, your pronunciation is getting better and better. And can we keep Miggy, please? Listen, play like that, he can stay all day for me. Abs, thank you for your £5 super chat. Playing J7 on the left really helped us and balanced the midfield. Miggy says, take your face for a shite, Paul. Well, he can. I'll gladly do that if he continues to play like that. Look,
Joe Linton on the left. I think it's also worth saying that Willock worked very hard on the right. It was both of them.
Willock was excellent last night.
It's the first time I've seen that midfield function in that three.
But my God, Billy, when his hamstring pinned, you could actually feel his pain. It was horrendous.
And there was a horrible close to his face when it happened as well. And good grief!
That wasn't a pull. That was a ka-ching. Just awful. João Felix liked the Newcastle post as well, says Chippers. Yes, he did. Which is it's very interesting. Mike says Mudryk liked Arsenal posts though. Well, he did because that's where he was apparently going. But
Chelsea offered him so much money.
Exactly. New Jersey Geordie says absolutely flying today. Alex sounded lit. Or like the Terminator, last night on Adam P's video. Glad you two got to get together for such a special night. Yeah, it was great. By the way, Adam will be a guest on our show on Sunday night. He's coming on to do the preview show with us, so looking forward to having Adam on the show on Sunday night. Wee Header says, I'm so proud to be a Geordie. How are all the lads and lasses? Ian says, Paul, are you regretting saying you want Miggy out the door, or is he still on your naughty step? Look, it's opinions about the team, right? And about next season. And I've just said it there. Miggy was excellent. And if he continues to prove me wrong, I don't have a problem with that. Look, I said 2 years ago, Joe Linton was shit. Look how Joe Linton's turned out. You just never know in football, do you? But the way he's been...
doesn't it?
Paul, between me and you, make out it's a little bit of a pep talk for him. Make out it was all down to you and you.
Well, that's what I'm going to say. He obviously watched the show the other night and thought, right, I'm going to prove that goggly-eyed bastard wrong and go out there and I'm going to put on a performance and I'm going to run to the Leazer's end when we score and celebrate like it's. I
don't think we wanted him to go necessarily. I think it was more the point of because he's 29. If somebody bids a good price, do we take it? I think it was more that. I love Miggy. We don't want him to go. His work rate and that energy would be great in a very congested season. It would be useful. But if somebody from La Liga goes, here's 37 million, I'm sure the club are going to be like, they're definitely going to think about it. They might not take it, but they'll think about it.
The FIFA emojis who walks out the door crying.
Oh, God.
Chris Lynch wants to know how to donate to the channel. $sign just underneath the chat. You just click that and it takes you through that way. So that's all you have to do is hit that $sign. CWY has sent a super chat of 30 MYR. What is MYR?
I'm going to say it's Myanmar.
Myanmar.
Malaysian ringgit.
Could be Malaysian.
No, well, it is, I've just Googled it.
Oh, right. Thank you very much. It says, watched De Zerbi's interview. He admitted Brighton deserved to lose while we deserve Champions League football without mentioning anything about dark arts. Top manager respect. Absolutely. And another big shout out to Pep Guardiola today for his comments praising Newcastle United as well. Why can't all managers be like these two and just accept that, Newcastle played well, apart from, getting the horse-faced Klopp on and bloody twist.
I'm sure if Liverpool were top of the league, Klopp would be praised us too. I think Guardiola's in a position where he can praise us.
Well, Guardiola could be. But it's nice though. I mean, he's got a lot of respect for Newcastle because of one man, hasn't he? We know. The same as Mourinho. It all comes down to Bobby Robson. And look, if Eddie Howe went in the future for any particular reason to England or whatever, would you have Guardiola? I'm fucking sure you would. You know what I mean? And just think, Guardiola could think, right, I could take over Bobby's club and take them to glory, or more glory, because Eddie's going to take us to the original glory.
France. Well, he's already done. This is his Premier League project. Can I mention one thing about De Zerbi as well? Mm-hmm. I think he could have had a moan. He had a claim. I'm sure some people might have seen some stats today on social media. I think the referee was bad for both ends. I think he was bad for us, bad for them in parts. Yeah. Joe Linton, 8 fouls, didn't get booked.
Well, he was very, very.
Bruno G, 1 foul booked.
Yeah.
It's normally it's bias against us or something, but I think it was just an overall incompetent performance from the referee. He just got a lot of stuff wrong for both sides. But 8 fouls and no yellow, I'd feel a bit hard done by if I was Brighton.
I did mention that in the watch along. Actually, I said Joe Linton's committed 3 or 4 fouls and Bruno gets booked for his first one, which wasn't really a foul. It's hardly a foul. It was a foul, but
I think he got mixed up. Maybe
that was a minute after the penalty we should have had.
Well, yeah. I mean, look, how that wasn't given as a penalty, I will never know. Right? That was incredible. Everybody in the Leazes end just stood up and thought, right, well, VAR, look at this, it's going to be given as a penalty. And then not given was quite incredible. Predator says, I got a membership donated. Yeah, I got a membership donated. Thanked Stephen yesterday, but again, thank you again, my friend. Indeed. Klopp will hate us forever if he doesn't make top 4. Look, I think Man United will be looking over the shoulders, because for me, it's between them two. I said it last week. It's between them two for 4th place. I think we will get 3rd. And I'm convinced that it's between Manchester United and Liverpool now. And, we're going to be so happy that one of them misses out, but then again, unhappy that one of them's going to make it.
It's either Klopp's mad and sad face or Goldbridge hiding behind his chair. Which one would you rather? I don't know.
Well, mind you, Goldbridge was very, very praising of Newcastle on his video on That's Football.
He kept mentioning oil and money. Don't even talk about it.
No, he didn't today. He didn't today. He
on his review.
He even admitted that Newcastle hadn't spent as much as anybody else, and what they had spent, they spent very wisely. He was very accommodating in Newcastle today.
Yeah.
So, we have to call him out when he's bullshitting us, but you've got to say, well done to Goldbridge for what he said. He said that Newcastle are going to be now. He doesn't think Newcastle will ever now leave the top 4 because of the backing they've got, and you have to agree with that because the recruitment that can get by being in the Champions League is massive, and there's no reason Newcastle now have to drop out of that top 4 because we'll be up there challenging all the time now. So he did have a point.
It's just frustrating because he's got a lazy narrative about Man City. That's the only problem. You've got to remember that Man City sold, he's complaining about Haaland and a cheat code. Yeah, but they sold Ferran Torres for a massive profit, Zinchenko and Gabriel Jesus. So they've been slowly getting rid of players, making good turnover. And Man United have spent the same as Man City. They've just spent it poorly and they've got no sell value for anyone. So that's kind of their fault.
You can't talk about Newcastle without Man City being involved. That's just it with Goldbridge. Whenever we talk about Newcastle, we always talk about Man City.
He mentions Ormond and then kind of lies there with his legs open, hoping for Qatar to come in.
Hoping for Qatar to buy, he kind of makes himself look slightly hypocritical there. Spike Milligan, thank you very much for your £20 super chat. He says, like I said the other day about coming out fast and furious, and they did, although they took the foot off the pedal in the second half. But I can handle a 4-1 scoreline. Keep up the great work. Thank you very much, buddy. Thank you for your continued donations.
I think it was just...
I think they were tired. They just hit that wall.
That level, I don't think anybody can keep that level up for 90 minutes. That was a ferocious press we did in that first half.
Yeah, absolutely.
And 30 seconds before they scored their goal, we should have scored it at the end. So,
True.
Yeah.
It's very, very well. It's not very often you see us split open through the middle like that between Botman and Share. You don't very often see that.
It was all Share, mate. It was all Share.
Well, yeah, but I mean, Nick Pope will be furious. He got nutmegged. You could see he was absolutely foaming.
It was Byrne who played him onside. Byrne didn't check the line because there was a guy.
Share's ball watching. You can't blame Byrne. It's Share ball watching.
Yeah,
Sorry,
but Share was in the line.
He was ball watching. He had the guy next to him.
Ball watching. He's got to pick the man up as well, I guess. Tony T and the Revenge of the Crumpet Men. Welcome. He says, did anyone see the bitter idiots on ESPN criticising the team celebrating with the fans at the end of the game? Look, what I'll say about ESPN is don't listen to them. They're a bunch of muppets. They've got nothing good to say about Newcastle United. ESPN are absolutely shocking when it comes to Newcastle United. Pay no attention to them. They're a bunch of bell ends. End of story. Mr. Reactions, thank you for your $4.99 super chat. He says, some hangover today, lads, with a very sickly looking emoji. Absolutely buzzing with the win. It was very emotional. I think we've sealed it now. Hope Brighton do a miracle and finish 4th. Chris Lynch eventually got his super chat in. Thank you very much, buddy. £20 super chat. Great channel. Miggy was first class last night. Yes, he was. Keith Truscott, thank you for your £5 super chat. Loved seeing Miggy getting chopsy and showing some spine. I mean, me and Alex talked about that last night, Jack, when Miggy completely lost it. I mean, you don't often see that, but he was enraged.
Yeah, was it with Enciso, his Paraguayan
yes.
Yeah, I think it's because they both challenged him for the ball. They both went down, and Enciso grabbed his face like that and just pulled him up. He was not. I won't be happy. I'm pretty sure most of us won't be happy if a player just grabbed your face.
Is that all it was? Because obviously we.
Yeah,
I don't know what
he got his face
on the TV.
They showed a replay and Cesar just grabbed his face like that and pulled him up.
We thought he must have said something.
Well, they're obviously arguing in Paraguay. Of course, they were.
Well, they were, but at the end of the game,
Spanish. Yeah, Spanish.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. You know what I mean.
Exactly. They did have I mean, really, Alex, there's no need to point that out.
There is. It's not Paraguayan.
I know Spanish, but
you are such a geography teacher at times. It is unbelievable. Anyway,
right, why don't we just say hello to the Canadians in the chat speaking Canadian? No, that's not how languages work.
No, some of them speak French, Alex, not Canadian. So
I mean, in rugby union, that would have been counted as a gouge, and they would probably send him off for it.
I mean, look, Joe Linton wasn't happy with Caicedo as well when he caught him. He was. I mean, there was a bit of nasties between them going on. I think he got him back because Joe Linton threw him into the advertising boards. About 5 minutes before that.
You're not getting away from Joe Linton.
No, but I mean, there was a lot of the times that Trippier, etc., had to come across and have a word with the players just to say, "Look, let it go. We're in a fantastic position here. Let's not spoil it by discipline."
I mean, Bruno got a yellow card and he's trying to start a fight with some people. Mate, calm down.
Yeah, we were all shouting there when we get Bruno. Just leave it, man. Leave it. You've been booked. It's like Jesus Christ. Just see the golden meadow above the.
So there's always one point in a match where it's just like a bunch of lads outside a chippy. Somebody said something funny, and they're just you've just got to calm them all down. They do it every game. It's hilarious.
Well, I know, but I love the bite we've got now. You know what I mean? We just, a couple of years ago, we just used to roll over and there was no fight there. But now they're just in there for each other and they're just tough as our boots. It's brilliant.
Wait for Monday. They'll be on Leicester.
Yeah. Geordie Metal, thank you for your 20 quid super chat. He says, great win last night. Sent for my new passport. Hopefully get it in times, and thumbs up to Billy for his great commentary. Absolutely. JT says, I've just seen the thumbnail there and I love it. A magpie laying many dookies on Pickford's napper from a great height. And of course, the seagull. Brilliant. You should use that on every time now. Well, we've got Fez to thank for that. He did a great job with it. Tim says, hello, everyone. I'm happy Newcastle won the game versus Brighton. And as a Crystal Palace fan, they are currently the closest that we have with a rivalry. Millwall and Charlton Athletic are real rivalries. Yeah, I'll never understand the Brighton Palace one because they're freaking miles away from each other.
Goes back many years, Paul. Goes back to the 1970s.
Right. Alan
Mullery and Malcolm Allison. Yeah.
Stephen says, no Klopp on the touchline, praying for Liverpool to crumble against Villa. Yeah, I mean, look, we discussed this last night. It could all be done and dusted by the time we play Leicester. If Liverpool get beat, Villa are quite capable, the way they're playing at the moment, of going to Anfield and winning the game. And of course, the fourth official won't have that bell end breathing down his neck for the full 90 minutes. So, it's not all done. And for us, we could just go into the Leicester game.
I'll tell you what, Man United, Bournemouth away is a tricky fixture for a lot of teams this season.
It is. I said that last night. Bournemouth are very strange. If they turn up, they could give Manchester United a rough ride.
Man United's away form is not good as well.
Yeah. Interesting one, Alex. Zaha rumoured to be in talks with Fenerbahce, which could also free up the Gula leaving the club.
That was my bit on the end. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm surprised that Zaha's been. I mean, it kind of makes sense actually. Turkey. I just thought he'd have stayed in the Prem, but then if he goes to Fenerbahce, obviously Gula plays there, and little roundabout.
Paul says Botman was class burn also, but only blemish maybe that he could have stepped up to get the offside for their goal because he was looking along the line. Neil House says Newcastle United. All right, Billy, you made your point on Shea. I mean, has he upset you or something?
Well, he gets his arse licked every week, and he made a mistake last night. So
hey, I'll not have you. Do not talk about Fabian Shea like that.
He's had a great season, but last night he was at fault for the goal.
Well, that's a little harsh. He's had his whatever licked. I mean, he's deservedly had it licked.
Well, it was a defensive error. Let's just call it a defensive error.
Deserved had it licked, but last night.
Just don't say you've been on the raw steaks tonight, Billy.
No, not
anyway. Neil says Newcastle United, we're a sleeping giant. The giant has now awoke, and God help any team now if that giant wakes up in a bad mood. What a fantastic football team. And look, I had a couple of subscribers come up to me at the end of the game last night and say, this is the best Newcastle United that they have ever seen, right? Including the entertainers. This is a better set up team. It is one of the best teams that they have seen in a very long time at St. James's Park. And it is very, very hard to argue with that, Alex.
Yeah, I think I saw a few stats flying around suggesting this is the lowest number of games we've lost in a season ever in our history. I would need to confirm that, but there's a few posts going around saying that. And if that's true, then it kind of backs up what you've just said. And it's not. The funny thing is, as well, is this isn't sort of a finished article. We've got a lot of players who are 23, 25.
Yeah,
we're feeling the squad out. We're building this identity. This is season one, really. This is the first season where it's Eddie Howe's full team. He had a window. He had a preseason. This was the tester season. To see whether they could sort of push into the top half of the league and how they could play. Yeah, and it's ended up with comments like that. Is this the greatest we've ever been, really, in sort of our lifetime?
I mean, yeah. I mean, we have to talk about Isak as well because a lot of people worry that it was them two again. Isak Wilson, and it hasn't particularly worked the last couple of games. But Isak yesterday, Jack, again, just brilliant. His ball control is fabulous to watch.
Honestly, it's. I say we not just me, all of us say this. The ball sticks to his feet like gorilla glue. It's honestly a bit ridiculous. Casado had a nightmare of a time against Isak. Isak, he's always lively. He's always up there. He's always going. And he's. I don't remember that one where I'm not sure if I think he meant it, where he kind of like the ball gave it to Willock and then carried on his run and Willock fed him in. That sort of thing is absolutely.
He definitely meant that. Yeah.
Yeah, I think he definitely meant that. Just that sort of thing breaks teams down. I think then that just took two players out of the game just from Isak's movement and his passing and the way the way Isak and Willock worked together. Isak for me was phenomenal yesterday. I thought he's just so lively on that left wing. It's just so a breath of fresh air to have a player who's quality up top and quality on the left as well. And that's mainly the main reason we signed him. So brilliant displays from Isak last night.
Michael Robson says Monday could be a dodgy game. Leicester fighting relegation, but it could mean nout if Villa beat the Scousers tomorrow. Look,
the damn tools.
Yeah, I mean, people have been saying, Leicester have been fighting relegation for how long now? And I mean, look, you have to look at the performances and say, wow, that they have been pathetic. There is nothing that gives me any inclination that Leicester are going to put up a fight on Monday. Nothing. Absolutely zilch. I'm convinced we turn up, we play our normal game, and as long as we don't go out with that attitude of, we'll just brush over them, that it's an easy win. Just play your normal game. Play it like a normal mid-season 90 minutes there. You've got to go and win the game, and we'll be fine. I'm not worried at all, to be honest, about Leicester City. David Smith, thank you for your $4.99 super chat. He says, agreed, supported and watched the Toon since the promotion in 1965. This has to be the best I have seen. It's high praise indeed from a lot of Newcastle fans. Diane says, when you look back to the takeover, it's unbelievable what we have achieved and without loads of money being spent. Julie singing along to the He's from Blythe. I mean, look, the songs last night, Alex, when we were in the ground in the second half, going to Italy and all of that, that would have echoed across the city last night.
Yeah, I mean, Henry Winter posted a little snippet. I didn't even realize he was there, but I think he'd taken it from sort of behind where the sports bar is, of everybody leaving, singing it on the way out as well. It was just such a unity. And it reminded me of being at Wembley for the Carabao Cup final, of when obviously all the Manchester United fans were leaving. There was no mass singing from them. There was just odds and sods from the Yobs, just literally just occasional sing-songs and attacking people. Whereas it's just a different vibe. We're one of those football teams, and the feeling of all the fans as well. We're not too bothered about everybody else. We're more concerned on what we're doing. And I love that. It's a fan base that, instead of constantly whinging about all the other teams, we're singing about our own team. Our own players have got their own songs. There is that concentration on what we're doing, and it's that's why the environment is so special, and why all the pundits and sort of interviewers and journalists are all like, God, it's pretty good up there, isn't it?
Indeed,
because of that unity.
Jordan says, do membership comments not get read out? Jordan, we currently have 1,131 people watching this show. To read every comment out is literally impossible, matey. That's why we say, I'll flash some up on the screen, or I will read a few out when I get a chance. But to read them all out is impossible, because otherwise it would just be a show of reading comments. And that's why it's called the chat, because you interact with all the other subscribers and viewers as well with their opinions. So, it's impossible, mate. DK, thank you for another $4.99 super chat. Talk of Romeo Lavia moving to Liverpool as his buyback clause starts in 2024. Be a class DM for us. Yeah, but I think Liverpool will have first option on that. But having said that, 2 seconds, Alex. Jordan, if you do want your comment read out, the guaranteed way is to super chat, because that comes straight at the top of the comments. And it's the easiest way to definitely get your comment read out. Sorry, go on, Alex.
Well, this is what we say in transfer shows. If Liverpool get Lavia, it means they're not going to go for a different option. So it means we can go for the different options. There's a lot of really good midfield options around at the moment, whether it's a 6 or an 8. There's tons around, tons of good age, good profile. If they get him, we'll get someone else. It's not a problem.
It's a strange deal, isn't it? Waiting for a buyback clause till 24.
Weird.
We'll leave themselves open until we're getting relegated this year, and if that's what's happened.
So really, Lavia's, it's one of these where listen, a lot of Leicester players have been accused of this. There's some that their contracts are running down. They know that they're not going to play in the Championship next season. They'll be off to some other club, where it be the Premier League or somewhere else in Europe. So they're not really bothered. And you have to say, it's a little bit sad when that happens, when they're just down tools. Jordan, thank you Jordan's now sent a £10 super chat in, so he does get his comment read out. Thanks, Jordan. He says, when St James's is bouncing, when we cement our place in the Champions League, War Flags have an amazing display on. Do you think Maddison will still want to go down south? I think when James Maddison sees what atmosphere that we're in for on Monday night, that might just swing it, to be honest. And of course, he'll have a few of the Newcastle players in his ear saying, do you not fancy this? Being a hero up here, you know what I mean? You don't want to go and play at Tottenham. Tottenham's ground, if you're flying over it from an airplane, it looks like a fucking toilet bowl. You don't want to go and play there. Ridiculous, man. It's an NFL stadium. Nathan, thank you for another $4.99 super chat. He says, did anyone else see Shea Given's reaction to us scoring? Absolutely class. Yeah, and Shearer as well on Twitter, putting Big Dan Burn, you fucking beauty. It's just wonderful.
Such a
Man.
unity
Really
in the club now. It's so good to see. Just everyone, even the past legends, getting involved in the club. You didn't see that years ago for obvious reasons. So it's just nice to have it now.
They feel welcome, aren't they? They weren't welcome in the previous regime.
Absolutely.
Well, I'm pretty sure. Did you guys see the GoPro clip for Nick Pope that they put out? It was Nick Pope doing some training drills with the goalkeepers. He had a GoPro on, and Shea Given got invited, and he got to do all the training drills with the keepers.
He hasn't. Can I just say, if you watch the video, he hasn't lost it. By the way, Shea Given is probably still as good as quite a few goalkeepers in the Premier League right now.
Can you take over Gillespie or someone?
Yeah. Why not?
Give him a contract for the Carabao Cup final.
That's a good point, Alex. But listen, hey, no, come on. It wasn't. Karius did nothing wrong in that final.
No.
Right? He did nothing. Karius.
Lolly laughs.
Laureus Karius.
Shut up, you bellends. Right? Craig says, Paul, were you supposed to be on Leicester Till I Die podcast? Listen, what happened with that is I'd agreed to go on, but then I forgot we were playing. It completely got the dates mixed up. And of course, Chris knew fine well I was at the match last night, but I've spoken to him today, so don't worry. But I just got the dates mixed up. Simple as. Julie J says, keep slagging off the players, Paul. They become immense. That seems to happen. Ashley 80 says, Paul's going to be full with all this humble pie. I'm not eating humble pie. I just not. I said on the show that I'd love him to prove me and a lot of other people wrong. And he did last night, but it's about being consistent. End of.
Can you start slagging off Botman's goal scoring record, please?
I know it's fucking abysmal, by the way. It really is. Please. I mean, it's absolute horse shit. He needs to sort that out. It's just not good enough. It's really not good enough. Abs, as Paul said, I am finished with Miggy. Disgraceful. By the way, Brighton were good sports, kicking the ball out when Willock pulled up. Yes, McAllister did that immediately. But I think the whole of Newcastle heard Willock scream because that was extremely painful. But yes, it was brilliant. And by the way, I didn't like what we did on the restart. It was a bit naughty, throwing it to Callum, and Callum kicked it all the way back to the goalkeeper. I didn't agree with that. It should have just been thrown straight back to Brighton in that area, to be fair. I think that was a bit naughty.
But he was challenging to win the ball, though. So
no, McAllister had the ball. He'd got the look.
I have to go watch it again. I can't remember.
Oh, Alex, it doesn't involve having to go watch it again. It doesn't matter anymore.
I've already watched the whole game again. I need to watch it a third time.
I thought Willock actually had it. I must be honest.
Yeah, I thought it was running with the ball and then his hamstring pulled up.
That's what.
No, he was challenging for the ball and it snapped. As the ball was bouncing. No. Do you watch the game? Or are you just honestly, I'm going to start calling you lot level 7 Dave because some things you just don't see. Anyway,
all three of us
shut up. It doesn't matter. It's gone, right? It's water under the Tyne Bridge, so to speak. It doesn't bloody matter. Sophia says, Paul, on his live show last night, Goldbridge was awful. All right, Stevie. He spent the entire show talking about oil money and cheat codes and super wealth being the only reason we're third. Well, yeah, you'll see that on his United channel. This is why he's hypocritical. But then he'll go on the That's Football channel where he gets an array of other fans on there and says something, probably what he's supposed to say. But on the United stand, it's a United channel. So, he's trying to get subscribed. I mean, I don't know why he's got over 2 million.
He does speak sense. And then a week later, he'll say something the opposite for clicks. I think he's not stupid.
He's clever. He's very clever with what he does.
Yeah, he does it on purpose.
Nathan, thank you for your $4.99 super chat again. He says, if Paul's saying he was challenging for the ball, he is bound to be wrong, guys. Don't worry. Well, stick that up your pipe and smoke it. Bloody hell. Honestly. Dean says, how tall is Paul? He looked huge on Adam P's video I watched earlier. I'm 6'5". Alex is about 5'3", and Adam's 5'1". So there you go.
Neither of us are that small.
The Crimson Lip says, I feel like if we get into the Champions League, whoever gets fourth place may be our new future rivals. Instead of Sunderland, Man United or Liverpool, who would you take as a rival? Man United or Liverpool? Well, we hate them anyway. So,
yeah.
But they, you'll find that they start to have rivalries with us, and then blame.
We mainly hate. Well, we hate both of the fan bases, but we hate Klopp more for Liverpool. We hate more Man United fan base for the Man United, but we hate them both regardless.
Yeah, I'm not a fan of Ten Hag anyway. Either of the managers, to be honest, they're both bellends. Thank you, Channel Right, for the £2. How were the lads? One negative, Pope's kicking was poor. Yeah, it was dreadful. First half especially was dreadful. It improved second half to a degree, but the first half, my God.
Poor Isak. The ball went over his head about 4 times. He was just like...
I'll tell you what I did like what Pope did there when he come out and claimed that cross. He come out and come through a group of players and let
yeah.
I didn't think he was going to get that. I was quite impressed.
I was really impressed.
Hey, to be honest, when the ball, when it was floating, I screamed, "Keeper!" at the top of my voice, and then I saw Nick Pope come out and catch it. And I was just like nodding my head around, saying, "Yeah, I called that, guys. I called it."
Did all the Brighton players leave it thinking you were the keeper?
Well, they must have. They must have heard it. Cheeky bastard. Michael says, loved it when the commentator said, "Who's Joe Linton fighting with?" The other commentator said, "All of them." Gannon Big Joe. Yeah. Oh, he's class, man, isn't he? He's you just wouldn't want him. He's a brick shithouse, man. He really is.
Back to his best last night.
Oh, yes. Night and E Gaming says, do we think Maddison will be given a full tour Monday after the match? There is a possibility of that. I think conversations might be had, or little.
Just invite him into the dressing room. Pretend he's going for an interview. Just invite him into the dressing room. Say hello to the lads and all that. Yeah.
Dressing room. See lads.
Say hello to the lads.
Lad. Have a few pints. Yeah. Show them wet toilets. Showers.
I'm waiting for Alex.
I'll do one in a bit.
Yep. Do it on air, Alex. Do it on air.
Keith says, Alex has got no choice. He sounds like a bloody royal family when he talks. Keith says, Villa, do us a favour, then we can place some of our youth players and give our guys time to heal up and rest.
Yeah, true. We give Lewis Miley a start.
Yes.
I wish we were 3-1 up, 4-1 up earlier. Then Miley could have come a little bit.
Yeah. Well, it might happen on Monday. Does Billy have any thoughts on Coventry bringing in the Premier League next season? Well, they're not there yet. They've got to beat Luton. But any thoughts on that, Bill?
Yeah, mixed, really. Mixed. I hope they do it, but then I think about that. Yeah, I think about the fans and how deluded they get when they were in the Premiership before. Every beginning of the season, they were really deluded. That's the thing. They got a chance of beating us, and it's not kind of shit. But I hope they do it.
After what they've been through, having to go and play at Northampton of all the places in the world. At Sixfield Stadium.
Hey, they're in League One now.
They are, yes. They're moving on up. Would-be Farmer says, this channel is 4 egos blended like a good whiskey. That's well put. Yeah. That's why a lot of people do watch us. The 4 of us have different personalities, and that's what works. Paul says, Billy's going to put Cher's ball watching down to those bumps on the head. I mean, look, he took another bash in the face last night. He hurt his hamstring at the end as well. I mean, he's a machine, that man. He is a machine. By the way, he hit that free kick fresh as a daisy. Either side of the goalkeeper, that was in, by the way.
I thought it was in for a second. I thought it was in now.
He hit it beautifully. Blakey said we lost 8 in 95-96.
All after Boxing Day, though, weren't they? Boxing Day onwards.
JP says Bobby Robson built a strong side. Not as good as this one. I'm sorry. I cannot agree. This is one of the best.
Imagine Jermaine Jenner's trying to slot into this midfield.
Well, yeah, exactly.
What's this?
Destroyed.
What's this, Jack? What's this? What?
Breaking now, Fabrizio Romano on Twitter saying that João Felix replying to a Newcastle-only club willing to pay 100 million for him on Instagram, and he said just a bunch of know-it-alls.
It's breaking for about 2 hours ago, but yeah.
1
Oh,
hour.
Alex, you don't have to say that, man. Leave the kids alone. Jesus.
Well,
what?
actually, Alex,
wasn't-
get your facts right. It's 1 hour ago. Just saying.
Oh, there you go. You see?
Yeah, he said just a
you
bunch of
see?
It was more than an hour ago. It just
Right.
doesn't say 2 until it's ticked over.
Let me refresh the page. Yeah, 1 hour.
Honestly, the sniping is just it's unnecessary.
But it's an irrelevant comment. He was basic, right? There was a page that's basically said Newcastle are the only ones willing to pay 100 million euros, and he's responded to that being like, oh, you don't know everything. It's nothing really to do with us. It's just him upset with rumours. It's not really anything. It's just what it is.
He's a very vocal person, João Felix. He's a very vocal person.
Yeah. I think we've seen that in the past. Dave says if we win on Monday night and qualify, they should play the Champions League music at the end of the match.
Yes.
A lot of Newcastle fans have said that. Look, I think the music. I mean, I hate that song. We're moving on up now. I can't. It's just so boring. You know, it's really boring at the end of the game when they play that. I don't see the point. You know, play some upbeat music and before the game, you know, just get music that's going to get the crowd going instead of just, you know, that needs to change for me because, you know, some of it's just Billy Bollocks, not you, Billy, but you know, just Billy Bollocks.
You're moving on up now.
No, let's not even go there.
No.
Tangy says, Wout Feces with an own goal XG of ×3 incoming on Monday night. I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that, actually. Right, it is time for the player ratings. This should be interesting. Let us know in the chat if you actually agree with us. But we'll start off with His Holiness Nick Pope, and we're going to start with you, Alex.
I will give him. That's probably the toughest one of the whole lot, really, isn't it? I want to give him an 8, but I can't because the distribution was really bad. Probably deserving of an 8, but I'm going to say 7 because the distribution was just shocking. But I was really impressed with the sweeper keeping, no nonsense, any danger, boom, kicked it straight out, kept it nice and simple. But his distribution was just awful. But 7, he was solid, I guess.
Okay.
Arguably could have done more for the goal. But
Jim's got a question for you, Alex. He says, Alex, you've been an arse since Jack's arrival on the channel. Why is that?
It's a bit personal.
He don't like me drinking Prime.
That could be the reason.
I just don't like Prime in general.
Well, there you go.
Yeah, tried it.
I do not have an issue with Jack. It was more the fact that it wasn't breaking news. It was just me being pedantic. That was all it was.
Well, you've been pedantic since Jack's arrival, so why is that?
I've always been pedantic.
Well, no shit, Sherlock. Right, Billy, Nick Pope.
Yeah, his distribution was awful. And the one shot I had to save didn't save. But having said that, he did dominate his area, crosses, sweeper keeping. I will give him an 8 because I thought he was part of his distribution side and not saving the one shot he had. Although, you know, he did have a little chance with it. I will give him an 8.
You're talking yourself into a 7 there, Billy.
I am, yeah. Fucking 5.
Listen, I thought Undal or whatever his name is, he took the goal very well. He was very calm and placed it through the legs of Pope. It was a good finish for me. But look, for me, Nick Pope, his kicking was a bit dodgy, but I agree with Billy. His commanding of his penalty area yesterday was absolutely superb. He didn't have a save to make apart from the goal that was conceded. But when those crosses came in, he dealt with them very, very well and looked very comfortable with it. So he gets an 8 from me. Jack?
Yeah, I don't think I need to explain because all of you guys have just said what exactly I was going to say. So I give him a 7.
7, okay. Right, we'll move to Kieran Trippier at right back. Jack?
Yeah, the class game Trippier now. We've been slandering him for a few weeks because he rightly said because he's not been up to his usual standards in past few weeks. But yesterday he turned it all around and his set pieces were a lot better. Defending, solid. He had Matoma in his. I've just seen a post on Twitter saying Trippier emptying his pockets and Matoma came out. So yeah, he had Matoma in his pockets all night. So Trippier for me gets a 9. That was outstanding.
Okay, Billy.
Well, I'm going to give him a 10 because I thought he was faultless.
Okay.
Absolutely faultless. Set piece was superb. Not once did Mitoma get the run on Trippier. Not once did he even get in a position to get the run on Trippier. His experience, where to be at the right time was superb. Heading the ball back to the keeper, just calm and collected. Everything he did was perfect. And his right-back performances go, I don't think you've seen a better one this season, 10 out of 10.
Well, yeah, because we were talking about before the game, of course, we were talking about how he would deal with Mitoma, etc. And Mitoma just got frustrated the more the game went on. He did not get a sniff. I'm going with a 10 as well. I thought Trippier has just really stepped it up last night, became the player that we know he is again. He was a captain, all the battles that were going on all over the field, calming people down, etc. He was there for that as well. His deliveries were much better. His defending was excellent. So 10 for me. Alex?
Yeah, it's got to be a 10. Dealt with Estepinian and Mitoma brilliantly.
Mm-hmm.
The reason Miggy had such a good game was partly due to Trippier understanding when to release him, always releasing him at the right time. Perfectly weighted balls over the top for him to sort of combat. Defensively solid, set pieces better. You know, and I think he was a little bit injured in the second half as well. He was struggling, as was everyone. Just what didn't he do? It's got to be a 10. I can't give him any lower, really.
Absolutely. Kenzie says Alex's XG, which means expected grumpiness, is 9.8 when Jack is around.
I'm happy today. We won.
Yes. Well, you're a little bit tired, but that's obvious reasons. You've had a long drive. Billy, we'll move to Dan Byrne.
Yeah, that's everybody. Oh,
Billy, your internet's gone funny. You sound like what's his face? That robot.
Okay now. Okay now.
Yes. Do you want to start that again, bud?
Yeah, I'm going to repeat it. I'm going to give him a 10. I thought it was outstanding. Defensively great.
Okay.
And offensively scored the goal. He got that crossing from the corner for that chance of Miggy just before they scored was unbelievable. You know,
he's gone.
Gone again.
Oh, no, you're there. You're back.
I'm back. Yeah.
No. Billy, do you want to reboot, mate? Right, you've given Dan Byrne a 10. Reboot, buddy. He'll be back in a second. He just needs a reboot. Alex, Dan Byrne.
Well, Byrne, to people's surprise, I'm actually going to give a 10.
Hallelujah!
Well, I think it was his most complete performance in a black and white shirt. He was a lot more comfortable technically going forward, was more careful with the ball. He contributed in every phase of play. He got his goal. He just did everything right. He was so calm. He did, although he did start to go a little bit too often because he was, as soon as he was like, oh, I've got the hang of this attacking thing, he kept going a little bit too often. But
yeah.
It was probably his most complete performance, and I can't give him any less than a 10. If he can deliver closer to that, that was brilliant. So good.
Where was that? Now where have I lost that comment? It was something about Undav's goals. They were both good goals. Yes, were great finishes.
Well, can I just mention on Undav? I thought he was absolutely shocking. Bar the goal, I thought he was awful. Absolutely abysmal.
Yep. Byrne gets a 10 from me. I mean, some people are saying a 9 because of he should have stepped up for offside. I'm not knocking him a point for that.
He was looking at his man on the line though, which he also has a responsibility to do. So it was just unlucky timing, I think. You know, he can't put his eyes either direction. Like he's got to scan. You got to give him a minute.
Well, he gets a 10 from me. Chippers, will you stop flirting with Sophia, please? Because it's making me feel sick in the chat. You're a disgrace to the male gender. Pack it in. Jack.
Yeah, 10. Much better from Dan Byrne. He was class yesterday, honestly. Offensively and defensively, he was outstanding. I mean, like you said, Paul, that cross that Willock flicked onto Miggy. I don't know how Miggy didn't score, but we'll get on to him. But it's just class from Dan Byrne. And to get the goal as well, yeah, can't give him any lower. 10 for me.
Yeah. Ian says all the Coventry fans are signing up for the internet now in preparation for the Premier League. That's slowing Billy's connection down.
Internet,
Yeah.
Coventry.
Oh, dear. Right. Let's move on to the centre backs. We'll start off with Fabian Schär. I'm going to give Fabian an 8. Simply because I think he got, like Billy says, he got called ball watching and for the goal. But look, some of his passing last night was wayward. If you noticed how many times he kicked the ball out of play, was quite poor, actually. But defending-wise, he was solid. So an 8 from me. Alex?
I'm going to give him a 7. I for the same reasons you've done. I thought his passing. I mean, let me go and have a look because I'm pretty sure it was shocking. 59%. That's very low for him. 59% passing accuracy is extremely low. I mean, as Billy said, he should have been a little bit more attentive to the Undav run. And I think a lot of the time the spacing issue was more to do with Schär's positioning than it was Botman's.
Yeah.
Not his best game. He was solid though. He was decent, which is, I think 7 is a fair score for a decent performance.
Billy?
Yeah, I agree with what Alex said. I'll give him a 7 also. And of course, Botman's major moment of the match was Botman covering for Schär and getting that tackle in Schär's area, which was a phenomenal tackle. So yeah, 7's fair for Schär. And I'm a poet and don't know it.
You are. Jack?
I'm going to give him an 8. I think he was defensively solid. A few times, he could have tracked the Undav run a bit better, and brilliant cover from Botman, which Schär just fell short on. But yeah, I think Schär's passing yet again was not as good, because we know he can grip out a phenomenal ball when he's on his day with passing wise. But yeah, I think he was defensively solid, and I think I'll give him an 8.
Okay. Right, Sven Botman. Billy, we'll start with you.
Didn't really have a lot to do, to be honest, but that one tackle for me deserves really high marks. It was a phenomenal tackle. His passing was really good. The timing of that tackle, he had to make it and had to get it right, and he did. I'll give Botman a 9.
Okay. Ken says, I'm giving Chippers a 10 for his effort and a 2 for his chat-up lines. Yeah, they're terrible. Alex, Sven Botman?
I'm going to give him an 8. I thought he had a really good game. I thought him and Byrne together were really switched on to that. They kept doing that really funny. They were trying to do that janky diagonal run where they were doing that cross long ball, and it was always either Botman or Byrne that were really switched on to that. They won the aerial duel every time, shut that attack down, because that could have been real dangerous if that had bounced. And Botman was the one stopping that. A lot more accurate with his passing than Schär was.
Yeah.
More of a Rolls-Royce performance than he's done recently, so he can have an 8.
Okay. Rabia says, I'm sorry, the goal was Byrne's fault. Schär playing the guy offside. Was Byrne played him on. Fullbacks should always be ahead. Centre-backs, had Byrne been a yard forward, Undav would have been off.
But at that moment, he scanned to check. He's... These things happen. It's not that he did anything wrong. He has to also check that, because there might have been a switch out to the right. It happens.
And did we play offside as well? Is offside a tactic advice? It's not really a tactic advice.
Well,
so
we haven't. We don't really. It's not.
If you go and watch the replay very carefully, neither Trippier or Schär check the line. They're in the line, but they didn't check the line. So that they got quite lucky that there was 3 of them in a straight line. None of them scanned for it apart from Botman. Go and check the replay. Byrne did. He just checked the wide line first and then didn't get back in. It happens.
Jack?
I'm going to give Botman a 9. I thought he was. I mean, that tackle. He injured himself a little bit in the tackle, but
yeah, he did.
If he didn't get that correct, probably been a red card and a penalty as well. So we know he's good for them timing the tackles. I'm not going to talk about the Brentford one, but yeah, quality tackle, and we know he can do that because he's a class defender, and I think he had a much better game last night. So I give him a 9.
Yeah, I'm going to give him a 9 as well for the same reasons. I thought he looked, he's had a few shaky games lately, hasn't he? And where he hasn't been as effective. But I think last night back to his best. Alex Botman and Schär together have 7.2 XG and 1 goal between them. Interesting. Look, there was one in the second half that Botman just showed how classy he was. I think that he tried to knock it past him in our penalty area, and Botman just pushed him out the way. He just strength was incredible. I just let the ball roll out for a goal kick. So yeah, right. We move on to the midfield, and we start off with our central, our defensive midfielder, Bruno. I'm giving Bruno a 6. I know he scored. Don't come at me for that. It was a very good goal, but I just thought out of our midfield yesterday,
get murdered for that.
I don't care. It's my opinion. Look, he was anonymous in the first half. He was absolutely anonymous. Nobody can tell me he wasn't good yesterday. Nobody can tell me that he had a good game. I'm sorry, he didn't. So I'm leaving it at that. Jack.
There's Billy lending you the glasses. I'm gonna give Bruno an 8. I thought Bruno was good yesterday. He was better in recent. It was okay. That's your opinion, Paul. In recent weeks, he was a lot better. I think he scored the goal, of course. Bruno had that coming. He needed to get a goal back in the squad, and he's definitely coping with that ankle injury a lot better. So yeah, I'll give Bruno an 8.
Okay. Billy?
I'll give him a 9. Thought he was outstanding.
Oh, God almighty!
Ran the game from start to finish. Brighton didn't...
What were you watching, man?
Brighton didn't cater for him. They didn't put a man on him, which they should have done.
Right, hang on. Right. Everyone around me said exactly the same as what I'm saying now, that he was anonymous in the first half. And we'll all put that down to him. He's got an injury.
Been hit by some projectiles from the away fans, possibly.
Fuck off. Anyway.
He wasn't. He kept just ticking every single time.
No.
Really was. Scored as well. The only time they put Caicedo in too late in the game, and I thought he dominated the midfield. Thought he was outstanding. 9 out of 10.
Alex?
I'll give him a 9 as well. I thought he was exceptional. Early doors. Whenever we were putting those moves together, he was arriving late into the box, making sure he was an option. 10 out of 13 ground duels he won. 4 tackles, 4 interceptions. He won us 5 free kicks, and they were all quite decent free kicks, to be fair. I thought he ran the show, got his goal as well. Calm in possession was one of the reasons they couldn't settle in our half at all. Thought he was outstanding.
All right, Paul.
I'm fine. Let's move on to Joe Willock. Billy?
I loved him on that side of the pitch, to be honest. The right-hand side of midfield. I thought it suited us much more. We looked much more balanced. Energy. Not a lot of final kind of product to it, though. But, yeah, I thought it had a really energetic game, so I'll give him an 8.
Okay. Jack?
Yeah, Willock. Really unlucky to get that hamstring problem. I think that's him done for the season, but I don't think that's him done for the season. There's no way he can come back from that. So I think Willock was brilliant. Yeah, he was. When I saw Joel Linton move to the left, I'm like, oh, no wonder we're playing better in midfield. This is why. And can I say, because we weren't talking about the right side so much, that proves how much of a good job Joe Willock did on the right hand side, and he did very, very, very well on the right hand side. So I'm really impressed with Joe Willock. I'll give him a 9.
Okay. Can I just say, some people scored Bruno in the chat 7, right? Scoring him a 7 and then having a go at me for scoring him a 6. What's the fucking... There's only one mark difference, so you're having a go at me for giving him a 6. I mean, come on, have a word with yourselves, man. You're giving him a 6 and then you're saying, oh, Paul, that's harsh, giving him a 7, giving him a 6. Yeah, you give him a 7. There's no fucking difference. Jesus Christ on a bike. Anyway, right. Willock for me gets an 8. I thought he was back to his best yesterday. Looked dangerous. Did the job on the right hand side very, very well. So awesome. Right, Joe Linton. Alex. No, you can't because you're. Well, you can. Go on.
Yeah, I'm going to give Willock an 8 as well. He's got the balance right. Willock needs to play on the right hand side. He was linking up really well with everybody. It was decent. It works. Needs to be that going forward. It was really nice to see it actually work because it means we don't need Longstaff That I think the fact that we've had to talk about this so much for a month about Longstaff, we can function without him. There's the balance. We just had to tinker until we found the right way.
Yeah.
And the fact that it works against Brighton means it will probably work against a lot of other teams as well, because Brighton are really solid.
Yeah. By the way, going back to Bruno, I'm still giving him a 10 for effort because he's playing with an injury. And he's playing with that injury, which is obviously
But surely, if you
Alex, I'll bury you 6 foot under shortly, sunshine.
if you're giving him a 10 for effort, if you're giving him a 10 for effort, surely some of that marking has to go towards his overall marking. So how was it going from 10 all the way down to a 6?
You just shut up, you little Yorkshireman, right? Yeah, my view is just hey up, lad, hey up. Don't be shouting at me, lad. Anyway, let's move to Joe Linton. Has anybody marked Joe Linton yet? You've knocked me off my stride here. No, I'm giving him a 9. I thought he was excellent. Jack.
Yeah, I give him a 9 as well. Looked way better, way more dangerous, way more physical on the left-hand side. Something we needed more from Joe Linton in recent weeks because he's been playing on the right-hand side. I thought it was class. Looked way better on the left-hand side. So that's the way to go now. So I give him a 9.
Alex?
I'm going to give him a 10. I thought it was absolutely incredible. There were certain phases in which we went into a 4-4-2 where he would go up alongside Wilson in certain moves. He got played through several times. They tried a few long balls. One of them worked. He got through on goal. A couple of people in the box waiting. The physical battle with some of the Brighton players. He did all of the dirty work in that game and got absolutely battered for it. Fair enough that there were a few things he didn't do immaculately, but I feel like him putting his body on the line is the reason we had as much control as we did in parts of that game. I thought that allowed other people to do that. He was the one going in and bouncing off 2 or 3 players, and the ball would bounce out and we'd get control. So it wasn't pretty, but he was doing the dirty stuff really, really, really well. I'm going to give him a 10 for that because he looked in so much pain. How many bruises and bangs and cuts and wallops he got in that match. Like, he's an absolute warrior. So I'm going to give it a 10.
Okay. George, thank you very much for your £5 super chat. He says, now you know why those sitting around him at the match always agree with him. George, I remember a simple conversation with you at half-time saying that Bruno wasn't at it, and you agreed. So don't you come on here and put that kind of crap, matey. Right? Honestly. Ian Skinner thinks I'm 6'5" around the waist. Well, actually, I have had compliments of my weight loss, you monumental twat. Anyway, I still love you, though. Right. Billy, Joe Linton.
Yeah. I agree with Alex, actually, but I'm not going to give him a 10. Had he scored that goal, which was fantastic with the defending by Lewis Dunk to stop him, I would have given him a 10. But apart from that, I thought he was outstanding. Yeah, 9 out of 10. Way back.
Yeah.
That spin, by the way, that Billy's on about, can I just mention, if anybody goes back and watches the highlights, have a look at the other side of the box. We've got, I think it might be Willock and Bruno or Willock and someone, but we had 2. If that rebound went anywhere else in the box, it was going to be a goal. There were so many follow-ups where we'd got 3 players ready and Brighton was switched off. We could have scored so many more goals. They were so good at following up everything.
And we pressed on their own 6-yard box, and Joe Linton got a foot in, but it deflected into the keeper's arms, which was going mental. Yeah. But we'll talk about that Joe Linton shot. That reminds me of the Dan Burn-Cheston turn shot. That was fantastic too.
Yeah.
That was filthy. It had like 2 1-2s into the box, Burn. Yeah. Like, where did that come from?
So where's your Stephen Merchant comment this week, Alex?
Mate, if Stephen Merchant on the wing, can stay if he's going to do that.
Yeah, he had a good day at the office, so they say. See what I did there?
Yeah, Billy. The old ones are the best. Anyway, Abs says it was strange why J7 was moved to the right in previous games. I agree with you on that, Abs. But then again, I've seen your next comment, and you're a twat. Paul always underscores Bruno and appears to be trying to spread his idiocy to those around him.
Jesus.
Unbelievable. George sent another £2 super chat saying, you're bigger than me. That doesn't matter. Are you not man enough to have an opinion? I know for a fact that you disagree with me on certain things at the match, Georgie boy. But on that, Everyone said it around us, and you know I'm not bullshitting with that. Anyway, let's move on to the front three. We'll start off with Alexander Isak. Jack.
I thought it was very good last night. We're very lively. Casado had a nightmare over time, so I'll give you Isak a 9.
Okay, Billy?
Yeah, I agree with that. Totally, 100%. What Jack just said there. Casado shouldn't have been playing it right back. And I think he was playing there purely because they expected Isak to play on that wing. And Isak took him to the cleaners, basically. Yeah, I thought it was a great game.
Okay. We've got a $9.99 super chat from 12th Man Toon. He says, my mate didn't put my bins out while I was working away. Now I have to wait 2 weeks for the bin to be emptied with an entire roast chicken in it. Mint. Anyways, good evening, everybody. Well, thank you for telling us that, 12th Man Toon. We will sleep much better tonight knowing that. Thank you. Right, who hasn't voted on Isak yet?
I think most of us.
You too.
Billy All right, okay. Go on, Alex.
I'm going to give him a 10. I thought the fact that he is a striker who can kind of play wide, the defensive work he did in that left-back role was... I was not expecting him, because we were critical of him not following a run a few weeks ago.
Yeah.
So the how clean everything was defensively and that sort of helping Dan Burn out, I wasn't expecting him to be so good in that phase. Like, it was really solid. And then 4 out of 5 aerial duels against Caicedo, who is no joke. He kept winning in the air, and then Joe Linton was helping him, and it just worked so well. I mean, I'm almost embarrassed that me and Billy questioned his physicality once upon a time, because the kid is a monster.
I agree.
Like,
Yeah,
he was winning everything.
Yeah. I think he was just getting up to speed with the Premier League guys, if we're being honest, wasn't he?
But he was involved in anything good we did, whether it was with Wilson or Willock or Joe Linton. He was always orchestrating any, apart from obviously Miggy doing his own stuff on the other side.
Or Stephen Merchant, even.
Of everything. Or Stephen Merchant, I'm going to give Isak a 10 for that, purely because the kid is a striker, and the defensive work was insane. He deserves a 10.
Right, Paul.
Yes, I'm just disagreeing with that idiot again. I'm going with a 9. I agree with Billy and Jack. I can't give him a 10 because he simply wasn't as good as somebody else. So for me, a 9, definitely. No doubt about it. Right. Other side was Miguel Almirón, and I'm giving Miggy a 10. I thought Miggy was outstanding last night, made me eat my words well and truly, performed brilliantly defensively, going forward as well. Like you said, Billy, they didn't know whether he was coming in or out. I thought he was superb. 10. Jack?
He should have scored 2.
Well, yeah, he should have scored 2, but
he should have scored the one really early on. You've got to be finishing them. But look, I'm not going to be too critical of him. I thought he had an overall good game, so I'll give him a 9. Just so if he scored the goal, I would have given him a 10. But
I'm sorry, what did you score? What did you score, Bruno?
Scored him an 8.
Anyway, Ryan says, what the hell are you doing putting a full roast chicken there? Don't waste your food, man. Well, I mean, could you imagine Ryan putting a full beaver in the bin? I mean, it would be unheard of. Anyway, Alex.
It's got to be a 10. I mean, he had Estepinian on... I mean, he had him on toast, crumpets, croissants, baguettes, pretzels. He had him on any kind of breaded goods for the entire night. It was... I mean, he won 9 ground duels. He won more than double the amount of ground duels as Joe Linton. Yeah. This is Miggy. Like, I just said this about Dan Burn. I'll say it about Miggy. I think that is his most complete performance in the black and white shirt. I know he didn't get any of those crazy left-footed volley goals that he's been doing, but in terms of just an overall performance, it had everything, and it was as complete as you're going to get. I'm sure Eddie Howe will love that more than some of the wonder goals, just because of how complete the performance was. It definitely got to be a 10, and he got the assist.
12th Man Toon, thank you for another $4.99 super chat. He says, mint sauce on a bacon sandwich. It's exquisite. Almost as exclusive and Michelin star as Daisy's milk. Dan Burn, man of the match, by the way.
Is that a thing? Mint sauce and bacon sandwich?
It shouldn't be.
Mint sauce on like a lamb shank or something like that, but no.
I don't know what.
No.
Mint sauce on anything.
For God's sake, Bill.
I was prepared for that, but then I swallowed at the same time, and it's not good. Yeah, shut up. George T, thank you very much for another £2 with laughing emojis. You bloody skinflint, knock it up to a fiver and it goes to the top of my list. I can see what you're talking about. Anyway, Foxy says, who wanted Miggy gone in the summer? That would have been Alex. Whenever people doubt him, he does the business. 10 out of 10. Spacebar says, Miggy 10. He dusted the fullback so many times. He caused them so many problems. Defensively, he was outstanding. Anyway, Billy.
Yeah, actually, if I could give him 11, I would, because he usually goes off at 70 minutes. Last night, he was doing it for 90. All over the pitch. Doesn't matter whether he was on the left or the right defensively. He managed to get over there. The first move he made on the Stupidon was on his outside, and from then on in, Stupidon didn't have a clue where he was going. Possibly he should have scored. Definitely should have scored, in fact, but take that away, because the last few weeks, he would have been disappointed with his performances, and last night he's back to his real best. And I agree with Alex. I think that's his best game in the Newcastle shirt. 10 out of 10.
Yeah.
Can I mention one thing as well? He got to the byline on his right foot, used his right foot, picked out Joe Willock.
Yeah.
He can do it.
He can do it. He just needs to do it more. Ab says, people saying Bruno levels have dropped are clueless. Luckily, Eddie is not so stupid. Come on. He's not playing as well as he has done all season. He's injured. That's why. I'm not saying that
he's mobile, but
he's definitely nowhere near as mobile. But you can't score the same as you score in the likes of Miggy. There were different performances. I just don't get it. Anyway, we'll move to Callum Wilson. Billy Bob.
Fantastic finish for the goal. Press was superb. Another 90-minute performance, which you don't see often from him. I was actually thinking about him getting substituted. It didn't come. I'm glad it didn't. 10 out of 10.
Yep. I'm going 10 out of 10 as well. I thought his pressing was superb. He led the line. He was getting stuck in with the rough stuff again. He was winding players up, which Callum does absolutely brilliantly. Took his goal really well, considering how much time he had before he actually had to slot the ball in the net. Was just brilliant. Callum's he's back to the player he was, without a shadow of a doubt. He's loving it up there. George, thank you very much for your tenner. I apologise for calling you Skinflint. Happy now. See you Monday. Thanks, mate. I will see you Monday. Right, Alex.
Yeah, it's got to be a 10. That's probably... I keep whinging about the fact that the last time I saw him look at his physical best was November in an England shirt. He's back. That was Callum Wilson. Obviously, he's been scoring, but he's not been back in terms of his complete game. That is as close as I've seen him at his complete game since November. Yeah. The press was excellent. Eddie Howe mentioned that in the post, in the Leicester pre-match. To be fair, when to go on Dunk, when to go on Heck, or Van Heck, however we're meant to join that together. The press, the intelligence, the movement, the physicality, and as Eddie Howe alluded to, it all started. I mean, this is one of the reasons why the press hasn't been as good recently, because Wilson's been off the pace slightly. Yeah. He initiates that press, and if he's not on point, the whole team's not on point. And he was so on point that it worked. That's why the press was so impressive. With Isak thrown into the mix and Miggy with it, and then he got his assist and a goal. I was also guilty of the same thing that Billy mentioned. I was thinking, maybe it's time for Maxi now, and let's move Isak central. No, Wilson was obviously fit enough now. And that's good going into the final 2 games of the season.
But I guess we all assume that Wilson's going to come off, don't we? And he's going to move.
Well, it's just a shame that we couldn't get this sort of click from him. Maybe 4 or 5 weeks ago, it would have been nice, but at least it's back.
Yeah, but did the injury to Willock make that? Did that make it so that he had to change things around a little bit?
But it makes
selectively, he was outstanding, weren't he? Selectively with his press, it was just superb.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
When to go, when not to go, was it?
Geordie Howieman says it was great to see the lasses on at half time. Yes, it was. Brought out into the centre circle with the trophy. That was absolutely fantastic. And it was great. There was still a lot of people in the ground at halftime yesterday to give them the applause they 100% deserved. And it was Becky got interviewed in the centre circle, so it was great to see Amanda come on, me and Dad and Jamie Rubin. They all came onto the pitch to applaud the lasses on, which was really nice touch as well. That just shows what kind of people these are, who are directors of our club now. Just absolutely brilliant people who've really bought into Newcastle as a football club and the fans. They just love everything about it, like we love everything about them. Jack, Callum Wilson?
I give him a 10. He was absolutely brilliant. He took the goal very well as a striker. Like, you don't like it when, especially penalties, you don't like it when they take ages before you have to take it because you make your mind up. And he certainly made his mind up. He knew where he was going to hit it and slotted it bottom right. And that is Callum Wilson we know and love. And he's now he's the top goal scorer since the start of April, I think. So early stats. That's brilliant for Callum Wilson.
Yeah, in Europe.
And in Europe. And Europe. So, brilliant by Callum Wilson. I give him a 10.
Absolutely. Arani Granny says, me, Dad, and Jamie Rubin having a halftime contest on Monday night. Loser gives 5k to the food bank. Yeah, they're going to take part in the Fun 88 challenge, which is going to be hilarious to watch because see how well they can kick a football. But it's great that those two. I love the banter they have on Twitter. They're always winding each other up. And it's great to see. It really is. Right, Elliot Anderson, who came on
for further,
Joe,
we haven't mentioned Callum Wilson's strength and awareness to set Bruno up for the last goal either. That was superb.
Oh yeah, look, I mean, he could have shot that. He could have just hit that himself. He did all the hard work, fought off the defender, and then rolled it back for Bruno. So it was brilliant. Elliot Anderson, Jack.
Elliot Anderson obviously came on with Joe Willock.
Mm-hmm.
But I feel like Elliot Anderson didn't put a foot wrong with the amount he was on. And I feel like it's good to give Elliot Anderson a good half an hour. And I thought he was reasonably solid.
Yeah.
You tell when a player does bad because he makes some poor mistakes. But I don't think he did. I thought his tackling was immense. I thought he was reasonably solid and didn't put a foot wrong. So I'll give him an 8. I thought he was reasonably solid.
Yeah, I'm going with an 8 as well for all those reasons. He didn't do anything wrong at all. And I thought he played his part up front as well. They were knocking it around because we could have scored a few more in that last 20 minutes of the second half. We could have scored a couple more. Alex,
I'm going to give him a 7, but for the same reasons. They didn't really. I don't know if they didn't trust him, but he didn't really get a sniff. They just, he had like 7 touches, 4 out of 5 passes. But he contributed very well off the ball. He was very disciplined. Eddie Howe made a reference to the fact that it's the first time he's played on the right-hand side of a midfield 3, which is fair. But he was very solid. I just wish they'd have maybe given him a little bit more of the ball, especially towards the end. And I do have one gripe. This is against the rest of the lads. There's been 3 occasions in the last month where Elliot Anderson has been running on to the end of a shot, and he is the best place. He is the best placed person to take that shot, and people keep taking it off his boot. Let the kid have the freaking shot. It pees me off so much. It's not. That's where ego gets in the way. Fine. Wilson's done it once. He's the 9. Fine. Your main number 9 always gets the first claim on the shot. That's just how it is in football. But there's been a couple of other players. I think the other one yesterday was Bruno. If the kid's in a better position running onto a shot, let him shoot. You've got to let him have a go. He's part of the first team now. And it might help his confidence. It might help the whole team. That's the only gripe that I've got. That was the only thing that kind of irritated me. The fact that it's been 3 times now, it's starting to bug me.
Okay. Billy, have you scored?
No. I'll give him a 7 as well.
Okay.
I think he's a certainty to start Monday as well with the injury to Willock. So, I mean, we're going to see him for over 90 minutes and hopefully he can break his goal book. And when he does, I think we're going to see a better Elliot Anderson.
Okay. Well, all the other subs didn't come on till injury time.
Very late.
Really late.
We did have a lot of injury time, though.
Yeah, we're not going to score them, though. It was injury time and it was just
But
cleaning
can I
the
just
ball.
mention, Maxi broke someone.
I knew he was going to. He can't go one shot. Maxi was on the field for like
it was
that
great.
well.
That run was great. He put him on his arse and then passed it centrally. It was a great move.
I think he literally took Casado's boot off in the working as well.
Alex made a friend last night. Everybody after the game, somebody came over and it was Alex's friend because they loved Maxi as well, and they were talking for so long. It was a beautiful sight.
We had a couple of people come over last night and go, "You're right. Oh, hi, Star. You talk sense. Oh, hi, Paul." that happened twice. That happened twice last night.
Well, hang on a minute. I mean, before that actually happened, we were just talking about the amount of people that wanted photos last night of me. So, stick that in your microphone and smoke it.
You're the poster boy. That's why. You're the pretty one on the front of the screen.
Geordie Howie Man says, Sophia, make sure your doors are locked because Chippers has gone quiet all of a sudden.
Ever since Lamb Shank was mentioned.
Yes, he's disappeared. What are we scoring, Sir Edward Howe?
Only one mark you can give him, isn't there? Basically, it was the perfect managerial performance, wasn't it? Selection-wise, tactics-wise, substitutions-wise. Can't fault for anything. 10 out of 10.
Yeah. And, of course, the fans are 10 as well. Ab says, Paul was busy trying to tell people how bad Bruno is. Abs, you seriously got a problem here because, I love Bruno. And if you look back at all the other scores, I've always scored him high. So I just didn't think he was good yesterday. My opinion. End of. Right.
That's the opinion.
That's right. Now, I did say we were going to do a members draw tonight, but I'm not going to simply because I haven't brought the stuff with me. These have been donated by Spike Milligan, and there is two lovely A4 pictures of Kieran Trippier signed as well, which will look lovely in a frame. We got two of them, and also the Sir Bobby Robson's documentary on DVD. We've got that as well, which is still sealed. So what we're going to do is we'll give all three of those away on Sunday night. So I'll make sure that they're in the studio so I can actually show you what they look like. But they will be the two Kieran Trippier signatures will be members draws, and the Bobby Robson DVD that will just be a viewers draw. But I'll explain during the show how you can win those on Sunday night. But that is it for tonight, guys. Thank you so much. Over almost 1,200 people watching throughout. Absolutely fantastic. Thank you so much for everybody for tuning in. What I want to do, though, is ask you, please do, if you've enjoyed the show, hit that thumbs up button, guys, because, we're getting like 8,000 views and 10,000 views and only about 1,000 likes. We need the likes to keep up there on the search results so people can find the channel. So if you can just take 2 seconds to hit the thumbs up button, we really would appreciate that. It means a lot to this channel. Thank you very much for all the new members and all the super chats tonight. Thank you so much. As usual, your kindness is incredible. And of course, the mods, brilliant work from them again. Thank you to Alex, Jack, and Billy. But always to you guys out there for spending an hour and a half with us on a Friday night. It's been great crack again, as it always is in the chat. Listen, we will finish off. Before we go, we have to say hello to our resident cow. So there you go. The wrecking ball is out. So don't forget to join us on Sunday, guys, 8 p.m. With special guest Adam P. He'll be with us for the show to preview the Leicester game as well. And, of course, a triple giveaway. 2 for members and 1 for the viewers. We'll discuss that on the actual show, how you can go about winning them. But thank you very much, everybody, for watching. Have a wonderful weekend, whatever you're doing. And we'll see you again on Sunday night. If there's any news to bring you, I will bring out a video. But the next live show, Sunday night, 8 o'clock. We'll see you then, guys. Good night.
How are the lads? Come on in.
Come back and check out some green.